And we're back, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. Today, let's review Islands of Caliph. And this is a grid-based RPG modeled after the classics like Dungeon Master, Eye of the Beholder, and Ishar. If you played those games back in the day, you will feel right at home with Islands of Caliph. This game has an Arabian Nights Middle Eastern setting, which makes it stand out from the usual Western fantasy crowd, and I do appreciate that. It's a bold move because the main quest is about personal enlightenment, and it incorporates elements from Islamic tradition, and again, I think that is something completely different. The graphics look fashionably low-res, but colorful, and there's a day and night cycle and various weather effects. So things look really dynamic. I like it. The elements of the environments and the NPCs are 2D sprites as they were back in the day. Also, there's some really nice Arabian-themed songs here, and I do like the look, feel, and sound of the game. Now, what about gameplay? Now, the best thing about this game is the exploration, where you go from one island to the next, this archipelago of islands, and each look different. It's not completely open world, but you can go back and forth from the islands, and it's just a blast to explore these. And you meet NPCs, but no matter what island you're on, they look pretty much the same, especially the vendors on each island. Vendors that will sell you weapons and armors and healing items, they all look the same, which is a bit unimmersive. Some NPCs, like the Sultan of a town, will give you rudimentary quests, and some do tie into that religious undertone of the game, but others are more kind of mundane, like gathering 7 coconuts or finding a random book for the librarian. But again, I do like the exploration quite a bit, going into the world and exploring simple with the WASD keys. You do that one tile at a time. Going to a cave, a temple, a ruin, it's just a blast to do that. There are also a number of enemies to fight. You hit them with the E key, or you try and block incoming attacks from snakes, scorpions, spiders, rats, and all kinds of other beasts. There are also areas that only can be accessed later on when you've found or bought a certain item, and the game lets you figure things out for yourself. And again, that's something I do appreciate in games. Oh, the map feature in this game is pretty old school. It looks shite, but it is useful. And I know that in the older games, the maps were shite as well. And some things are better left in the past. Fortunately, these islands are not that big, so you don't really need a map. You'll figure things out for yourselves. There are treasures to be found, as well as keys that will open up new areas. It's just a blast. Again, you know, the exploration is just amazing. Although I got a little tired from hitting barrels just to find 1 silver coin. That does not really add up, does it? Now, the RPG systems are fairly rudimentary in this game, as you sometimes need to eat something, otherwise your health will drain. Sometimes you need to take a nap, otherwise your stamina will drain. But these systems are not very intrusive. You can also level up some attributes through trainers that are in the world, but again, this all feels very rudimentary. It doesn't really feel that you're progressing through leveling rather than acquiring weapons with better stats that will take down enemies easier. Overall, I thought this was an interesting spin on the old dungeon crawler formula, although the religious undertone is a bit watered down by mundane quest design and rudimentary RPG systems and progression. But considering this is an indie title from one person, it's actually not that bad. If you want to support the developer, please do buy the game. If this all sounds fairly interesting, just wait for a sale. The developer is actively updating the game quite regularly. So yeah, that's what I think of Islands of the Caliph. Let me know what you think, and see you next time.